What's going on, everybody? I'm back again with another video, and I'm out here in Dumaguete in the province of Negros Oriental in the Philippines. And I've been here before about 8 years ago, but I came back here to check out the vibes because I would enjoy the time that I came here throughout 8 years ago. So I want to see what else is happening here. But the main reason I came back is I'm gonna hop in another island that's not too far from here. And the main connection is to come here to Dumaguete. But meanwhile, I'm staying in an accommodation here, NY Hotel. Pretty nice hotel. I think it's a new hotel. The rooms are a little bit small, but they're pretty modern, so I'll shoot some B-rolls. You guys can check it out. But yeah, pretty busy out here because it's Tuesday in the afternoon, you know, heavy traffic jam. You know, they got some nice looking tricycles that you can fit a lot of, like 4 people in it, I guess, you know, pretty wide. But we're gonna stroll around through the street to see what are the vibes over here. There's also a jeepney, and then I'm gonna make it towards the waterfront. So without further ado, join me. Wow, I'm getting stairs left and right over here. But let's start a walk over here through this street to see what else is going on. This is the street here. Wow, it's pretty busy. Look at the tricycles. It looks like I'm transported back in time. Yeah, these tricycles are pretty dope. I remember riding it when I came here 8 years ago. I did actually vlog it, but the quality was bad. It was with my cell phone, so I'm not sure. Maybe the video might still be over there in the channel if you scroll down. But yeah, let's see what is happening out here today. Trying to hurry up before it rains later, you know. So far the heat is handling pretty good. Maybe later it will kick harder, but yeah, we'll see what other vibes. I didn't walk this street yesterday, so now I'm just exploring it. Also, another thing, a lot of foreigners live around this area, but I think they live like outside the city center, like in the outskirts. I think they live like near where the nature is, so, or the mountains. But yeah, let's see what's going on. Yeah, it's pretty busy out here, wow. But I like it so far. But much more chiller than the capital of Manila. See, look at the traffic jam. And I like the buildings, how well designed they are, but yeah, this is dope. You know, we're here just like many other parts of Philippines and other Asian countries. It's a little brave to cross the street, you know, but they're very careful, you know, you just gotta go for it. Once you stay here for a while, you get a hang of it and you get used to it, you know. But I think the worst place in terms of traffic and bicycle and crossing the street was Vietnam. That was like a little bit of a challenge for me, but I got used to it, you know. I miss Vietnam, but now let's dedicate it to the Philippines. I'm noticing a couple of hotels around here. Like I say, it's like a little bit of a small city, but it's packed in action out here. Now I'm gonna make it into some of the regular streets over here to see what's going on. And here we got a jeepney, wow. First one of this type. Usually you get this jeepney styles in Manila. Then look at the busyness of Dumaguete out here. It's a modern building with a mangina sign. What is this? Looks like it's a medical office, I'm not sure. But I like the building, it's pretty modern. And when I came here 8 years ago, I didn't really do much around the city, just stay around the waterfront. But now I'm able to explore more on my own around here and walk around comfortable. So I'm gonna walk a little bit more forward here. I gotta figure how can I cross towards the other side. Seems like they got a market over here. There should be also like a plaza in the city hall or church and the other side. But yeah, there's a pedestrian area, so that's probably like the best option for me to cross the street. Seems like it's like a local market. But they got them all over. Then, you know, Watson, which is a pharmacy, kind of like the Walgreens or Duane Reade that we got in New York. They got the Watsons out here, so. But now let me just cross the street over here. Okay, so it seems like they got a terminal here. Buñao terminal, and a lot of motorbikes out here. Oops. Oh yeah, watch out. Yeah, so it's pretty busy, and then that must be like a market inside over there, so. Good to see what the city center of Dumaguete looks like. So, you know, there's so much to explore in the Philippines, not only the city. Like I say, over 7,000 islands for you to check out. Yesterday I was in the nighttime, so it wasn't too crazy, but now you can see how it's packed in action. There's a market over there, and they even got the tuk-tuk over here. That's pretty nice. Yeah, I just love these tricycles. Look how cool they are. Pretty big and wide. This is like where you park your motorbikes. You guys know I'm a fan of action and exploring like local places. I'm probably gonna walk around here to see what's going on in this market out here. This market's reminding me a little bit of the Mariquina market that I walk here. So over here to my left is where they got, you know, meats and stuff, and then over here, vegetables. So yeah, I'm the only foreigner out here. Which happens to me most of the times when I go to different places in the Philippines, and that's okay. But at least a shortcut towards this other street out here to see what's going on. Cebuana, right ahead of me. Oh, and over here is like, kind of like a food court. They sell food and stuff. I love how the locals are looking at me. Obviously I got a camera on me, but the foreigner on me. So yeah, probably got some good quality food and affordable options. Nice. A different life from the capital region of Manila, but everywhere you go throughout the Philippines, you know, vibes changes, the language change, even the food, the cuisine, you know. There's so many type of food you can get around the Philippines, and, you know, pretty good prices. Gotta tell you, when I come out here, I eat and I never get sick or anything. I go back to the States, that's when I get like very sick. So it proves, you know, that they literally put chemicals back home. Over here is just like a different vibe, so yeah. But yeah, it's a really cool market that they got here in Dumaguete. So it's a market that sells everything from clothes, food, they even got like a barber shop over there. So then I'm back again in the street, so gonna get some street action. See what's going on, then I'll probably make it towards the regular square or the plaza. I'm probably gonna shortcut, I'll tell you, probably gonna shortcut over here to see what's going on. So, and then you make it back to the street, packed with action out here. Much more like ahead of me. So every single street I'm walking in Dumaguete so far, it's been awesome and busy. I like it. Then I like the old architecture, the buildings that they got. Then ahead of me should be Quezon Park, which is a plaza. I didn't got a chance to come to this area years ago, almost a decade when I came to Dumaguete. But now I'm gonna go check it out. I think this would be like a beautiful church ahead, you know. Of course, the main attraction is gonna be the waterfront. And I think it's a perfect place for you to capture the sunset. Another difference is they did like a new expansion in the waterfront that wasn't here the last time I came. So I'm probably gonna come back in the evening or in the nighttime, because I walk here in the nighttime and it was very different. Like, it's all lit up and a lot of buildings are pretty nice. But in here, it's called Perdisa Street. So there should be like a local square or plaza, however you want to call it. Not much going on, but let's see what action can we get right here. And over here's a local square. It's like a plaza. Pretty empty though, not really much going on, but maybe also because a lot of kids are in school. Then ahead of me, I see the church that I got here, the cathedral. But let me see, maybe I'll detour in the square to capture some action. Mostly just teenagers hanging out here, but probably gonna walk towards the other side and come back and show you where the church is. And this is a school. It's just mostly kids doing TikTok. I call them kids because I'm 38 years old, so old enough to be the father. So, but yeah, that's what you see going on. Yeah, they're just practicing. Then over here, more doing dances. That's awesome. I guess they practice also. I heard there's a fiesta going on right now in Dumaguete because it's October. So that's what they do now all over the world. They literally take their cell phone, they set it up in a stand, and they start doing dances for TikTok. I have TikTok, but I'm not a dancer, so I just do like my regular, you know, exploration content. Whatever I put in my YouTube, I make them to a shorter version, and I put them in TikTok and Instagram. So if you guys want to follow me in those other platforms, feel free to do so. Well, here's another opening, and then the church is literally like ahead of me. So I'm gonna walk over here and show you the vibes that's going down this way. This kind of gives me a little semi-vibe of Rizal Park in Manila, or Luneta Park. I mean, this is Jose Rizal. National monument right here, you know. It says it right there. And of course you got the square over here, you know. The kids is dancing and everything, so. And then ahead of me should be the church or the cathedral. I tell you, I'm the only foreigner walking around here. And now ahead of me, I want to show you the church that's going on. You know, I'm a huge fan of architecture, Spanish colonial architecture, because I grew up in a Latin country. So over here is a beautiful cathedral. Dumaguete. So this one's called St. Catherine Cathedral. And then of course in the Philippines, they got like separate, like I guess it's called Campanario. This is Campanario de Dumaguete right here. So went inside the church for a little bit, you know, a little bit on stage and didn't really film. But it's just like a little private time for me and to respect whoever's in the inside. But you know, it's a really nice looking church, even though it's not big. But now we're just gonna continue with our exploration. A little more, so I'm probably gonna do like a block or two over there and then turn back and walk the area that I walked literally last night. And then we're gonna make it towards the waterfront. I don't think there's gonna be much people in the waterfront because it's still pretty early. But I might come back in the afternoon or in the nighttime and see how the vibes change throughout the day. We got nice architecture over here. Set liner. This bus will get you all over the provinces. Years ago, I took that bus from Bacolod all the way down here. Then I went through Cebu, you know. So it's a way that a lot of locals commute. You know? So far, Dumaguete is one of my favorite, you know, cities or areas out here in the Philippines. You know, that's pretty cool. They got like a little farmer's market. Let me walk this way. I'm not gonna go inside, but I'll show you from a distance. It's like every single street here is pretty worth to look at. It's always like some action happening. Yeah, now the sun and the heat is starting to kick in. No matter what year you come to the Philippines, depending what area, it's hot. And this is the farmer's market, so they sell fresh fruits and vegetables, you know. This is where the locals come and buy. They also sell like loading for SIM card and stuff, so. They also have a Robinson's Mall, which I went here the last time I came. But it's a little bit outside the city, so the best way to do it is taking one of these tricycles. I forgot how much money it is. I know years ago it was about 50 pesos. I could be wrong. Maybe the price went up a little bit. But it's actually more over here. This must be like a school or something. Baking plus culinary. But yeah, a nice intersection that we got over here. So here we got more. Here's a little bit more chiller than the other side. He's gonna cross the street and then see what is going on around this side. So there's like a lot of regions throughout the area that it's good to explore, you know. Not only the city center, so, and they got a couple of hotels around, but I think I picked probably one of the best hotels. There's another one here called DCCCO Hotel. Yeah, this over here, it's modern, nice. So there, yeah, I see a lot of foreigners over there. So I think another reason that it might attract the foreigners, not only because of the chill vibe that you get in this beautiful town or city, but because it gets you access to other regions out here in the Philippines. Like you could take a ferry and go to Siquijor. You could take a ferry and go to Cebu, you know, so many ways to get around. And I'm back again in this main street over here, packed with action. It's like, wow, it's like a marathon on tricycles, one behind another one. Let me show you. See, here goes one. Now it's a car, but before I put the camera this way, tricycles after tricycles after tricycles. Like I said, it feels like it's being a little bit semi-transported back in time. But this is the way to commute around here in the city, so. There's another one, another cute kid. There's more ahead of me. But I do love, no matter if it's a big city or small, I do love when cities are packed with action. Because I feel like it really gives a good vibe and it doesn't make the city like depressing. I've been to another huge cities that are amazing, that are literally known as world-class city. I'm not gonna mention which one it is. But when I went in the streets, there was literally like nobody, maybe a few people, and I'm like, I didn't really get to enjoy it that much. But this little small city, I enjoy it more than that other apparently world-class city that they call. I was gonna cross the street. It's gonna take me back to the plaza. I'm gonna make towards the other side where I was walking. And then once I go to the other side, I'm gonna make it back and show you the waterfront and just cut it out for now, and then later I'll continue my video out here. See, look at this scenery. Nice buildings and the huge tricycles. They're nice. And then we're walking back, we're walking again by the square. So let's see, it's pretty different from the nighttime. I walked a little bit forward in the nighttime, there was not really much people. But also, like I say, there was a fiesta happening. I'm not sure if it's happening tonight, but a huge fiesta a little bit outside the city center that I think is pretty famous around here, and it really represents what the Negros province is about, you know. So I literally feel like I'm already becoming an expert crossing the streets. Like I said, the first time when I came, it was intimidating, but then you get used to it and you manage to cross the street. And over here, there's actually more action going on too. See what's going on? Every block that you walk is busy. And I like how they got this big modern buildings in every esquina or corner. So let me go down this way. So I guess there's a lot of universities and schools out here. I see a lot of young people, you know, in their uniforms. Then a little bit ahead, I think within a block ahead is where I literally walked yesterday. Here they got business. They got a sidewalk too, but I'm so used to walking like in the corner. And in the corner ahead of me, they got a couple of chain restaurants like Red Ribbon, Dunkin' Donuts, Jollibee, and McDonald's. And a lot of these spots over here, they open 24 hours. So in a supposedly small busy city like this, they have a lot of business that, you know, open 24 hours. So that's really cool and convenient. Like here, they got Red Ribbon, but then here they got like a modern Dunkin' Donuts. Not sure if it's new, but it looks pretty cool. And there's a Chow King, then in the corner, the icon of the Philippines, Jollibee's. And then I think this will be a McDonald's next to it. I walked here yesterday, it was quiet, but now you can see how busy it is, how everything changed during the daytime. So over here is Chow King, which is like a fusion of Chinese and Filipino. And the food is actually really good. I had it a couple of times. And then when you get back in the States, you got it right here, which is a McDonald's. The menu is way better than when you get back home in the States. And here it seems like they got like a little mall. Ever Mall. I didn't even notice this yesterday. One funny thing yesterday when I was walking here, all of these spaghetti wires were filled up with birds, like entirely. So maybe there's not really much trees out here. But let's continue exploring to see what else Dumaguete has to offer me. You know, it feels good to be back here after literally almost a decade. Gotta be careful here, it's tight. But yeah, I want to do more island hoppings out here since I'm going to be based out here in the Philippines. You know, not only stay in the city and cover a lot of parts of Metro Manila, but see, you know, the beautiful nature, the mountains, the beaches and stuff. I'm a huge fan of mountains, so I want to explore like the mountains out here. I've already been to Baguio, but I want to make my way towards Banaue, which is where they got the famous rice terrace. I'm a fan of looking at that, so I think that's going to be actually pretty awesome and pretty interesting. So, and this is San Juan Street. The hotel I'm staying is a little bit over that way. And then they got like a bake shop over here. I don't know, maybe I'll go that way to see what can I find. Because if I go this way, it's where the Waterfront is. But yeah, look at this bakery over here. It looks pretty dope. Ahead of me, I see something pretty interesting too. So let me see if I get a close-up of what it is. Because I walk in the nighttime, but I was hungry, so I really didn't got to venture around a lot. But this area looks pretty nice and modernized. You got stores, shoe stores. Back home in Puerto Rico where I'm from, a lot of the downtowns are literally dead, man. When I grew up, it was busy like this, but then now, when I went back a few years ago, the vibe changed. So hopefully it can come back to its glory days. So what is this here? Is it a plaza, a school? It says Silliman founder. Seems like it's something interesting. So it's actually a university. So I don't really want to go in, but one thing I noticed comparing to other places I've been, here in the university, they wear uniforms. It makes me confused. Are they like high school students or university students? But I guess things works different out here. There's a lot of restaurants out here that look pretty cool. At least I'm already studying where can I have lunch or dinner later. A lot of cool spots over here. And then ahead of me is like the main icon of Dumaguete. I think one of the main attractions of this beautiful city, which is the waterfront or the esplanade out here, or the boulevard, however you want to call it. Best time to spend it out in the boulevard is during the evenings or the nighttime. That's going to be better. You know, the weather settles down. Right now it's too hot. And then you could enjoy the beauty about Mother Nature, how the sun sets down with the water and everything. So that's going to be pretty epic. So I'm probably going to do that later. So here it is. And then towards my left, I think it's the Dumaguete port. And that's where you take the ferries to different parts of this region, in the Visayas region. So tomorrow I'm thinking I'm gonna hop in that ferry. I think that's where I gotta go for the ferry and go to the other island of Siquijor. Never been there, but a lot of people recommend me to go there and check it out. So that's exactly what I'm about to do tomorrow. And then across the waterfront, they got a lot of coffee shops, you know, restaurants. I gotta figure out how do I cross over here. And the nighttime it really lights up, so it's like a really nice different vibe. Not gonna lie, this is kind of giving me vibes of Sheep's Head Bay in Brooklyn, New York, where they got a waterfront and they got restaurants on the side. Here's where they got a sign where it says, I love Dumaguete. And then ahead of me is like the new development going on. And this is the famous icon sign where people get their pictures. And then you get the waterfront over there. You can see a lot of boats, a lot of ferries. So yeah, that should be the port. While hopping. And then from a distance, I can see an island over there. Not sure which one it is. But I see the mountains and then a little bit of the views that's going on. Like now there's not much action, but wait until later in the evening or in the nighttime. Everything comes out to life over here. And it's a place to be. So like I say, they got a new local park over there. And pretty nice and pretty quiet. It seems like they really did a retouch in this waterfront here. But yeah, it's pretty nice. And then over here they got, Italian restaurants, buffets and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty nice. Also, if you love exercising, if you're a runner or you jog or run, this over here is perfect because it's pretty wide, you see. You got plenty of space out here. So yeah, I think it's better if you do it in the evening. You see the business, they got coffee shops, sports bar, mostly foreigners out there that come and hang out here by the waterfront. But I think near the airport there's another spot, like another strip for them to hang out too. So the best way to come here is, taking the tricycles. This is also giving me the vibes like if I'm in Mall of Asia, AKA Moa in Manila. Like similar, you go outside and they got like the waterfront like this, and a lot of people they hang out, it gets busy during the evening. But I think I'm just gonna cut the video for now and I'm gonna come back later to see, the vibes and film for you guys to show you the difference of how this waterfront changes in the afternoon. I came back in the nighttime, you can see the lights over there lighting up. It's actually drizzling or raining a little bit, but the rain comes and goes, but yeah. Right now the weather's better. Still not really much crowd, but I'm gonna start walking a little bit more ahead. Yesterday when I came, there was a lot more people. And today's a Tuesday, but you can see how different the vibes are, from the daytime and the nighttime. The port is right there behind me. So, I'm just gonna brave it enough. Hopefully the rain doesn't come in heavier, but we're gonna see what's happening. There are literally like some tents ahead of me, so it probably gets nicer in front. And here you see the restaurants, a couple of business, how they lit up in the nighttime. It's like a little mini strip that they got here by the boulevard. So, so I'm gonna walk towards the other side where they got all the lights, kind of like a little pier or marina. I think it's gonna be pretty nice. There's even some spots where they do, they have bands performing. Yesterday when I was walking, they had a band performing. And years ago when I came here, they had a band performing. You can have food or drink beer if you're into that, So it's a pretty good area for you to socialize and chill. But yeah, not much crowd, but let's see what's happening ahead. If there's any more action I can find, Luckily it's not hot and humid like it was earlier, That's one good thing about the Philippines, despite it being super hot and humid, but usually like in the afternoon, the weather, comparing to other countries, the weather cools down. And that's when, a lot of cities and townships, they come out to life. A lot of people, they come out in the afternoon and the nighttime and they hang out in the streets, go to markets and stuff, and just do what they gotta do. And there's people here running, including my fiance. She is literally running now while I come here to finish up my video. Want to give a huge shout out to the runners community from Cubao, Manila, and Quezon City. Nice shout out to them, Here we are in Dumaguete, and they have like a boat decorator over here, and you can see the business behind me on the other side. So a couple of businesses, I like the design and architecture of some of these buildings. And that building has like a nightlife there, but I think they have like, music and food at the same time. So maybe on the weekends it gets actually better out here, better vibes. But I'm really, a huge fan of this waterfront that they got going on. I can see there's a boat over that side too. Because I think the ferries, they run late at night too, Some people, they go like far, like hours away, and they commute on the ferry to get to their destination. Either if they live there or they're traveling somewhere else, Those are some of the options of transportations out here in the provinces in the Philippines. So this over here is called Why Not? I think it's like a mixture of things like videoke, food. Like I said, there's tons of business out here. And then you got the waterfront. Seems like they're gonna renovate something over there. And this is one of the newest parts right here. So you can see. Like I've seen so many pictures from drone shots showing this whole area over here, you know. So I'm not sure this is like an artificial island that they extended with a waterfront right here, and then on the other side you see more beautiful buildings or restaurants. It's actually a restaurant chain called Jerry's. I've eaten at Jerry's a few times and the food is actually pretty good. So here you see the restaurant. It has like a little Spanish colonial architecture. And then that over there is another hotel called Beto Guest House. I stayed there the first time I came here. Pretty massive waterfront that I got here. I like this concept that they did. Pretty good idea. I think I'm gonna start walking here to see what can I find. And there are some vendors over there. Like I said, right now it's not really too busy, you know, maybe because of the rain. But maybe if the rain stops, it's probably gonna be jam-packed here, who knows. But let me see what can I find around here. Gotta tell you, the weather's actually feeling lovely out here today, thank God. Because I don't like when it's really cold, I don't like when it's humid or hot, but right now it's perfection, you know. Just a little bit of a drizzle rain, but that's okay, I'll take this over 100-degree weather. This is like the end of the extension. There's a boat literally sitting over there. And a lot of young people here doing their TikToks, you know, they set up their phone and they're dancing. You can't really see clearly the water here at nighttime, but I'll show you. This is it. So yeah, it's pretty dark. That's the only cons of filming in the nighttime or going to a waterfront at night. You can't really see like the ocean or the water out here. So here we got a statue. It seems like it's Jose Rizal. And then on top is a Filipino flag. I don't know how clear my camera can capture, but it's light up, you know, it's lit up. Then a little bit more over here. What attracts me is I see a lot of lights. So I don't know if there's like what attracts me, I see a lot of lights over there. Like, not sure if it's some tents. I don't know if they have a market over there. Only one way to find out. I know I see a huge, massive parking lot, so maybe I'll go take a peek. But it seems like there's a couple of food joints over here. See, they even got the outdoor sitting area. So they got the outdoor, but it's raining, but they also have a tent with indoor area. So maybe I'll take a little peek to see what they're selling. I'll check nothing crazy, just a few food stalls and mostly like a coffee and boba tea joint combined together. And a couple of skewers, I guess you just tell them which one you want and they'll barbecue it there for you, so, but yeah, you know, that's just pretty common all over the Philippines, no matter what area and which province you go. Like, you'll find a little bit of everything. But yeah, like I say, it's been years, so I'm not sure how long did they open up like this extension, but you know, it's a really cool concept and more space for people to just recreate, run, or do exercise, you know. But yeah, Dumaguete is a really, really cool city in the province of Negros Oriental. But I think I'm just gonna wrap up the video over here, you know. That's been pretty much enough for today, covering the city center of Dumaguete. But I'm up for adventures. I'm gonna be, like I said, tomorrow going to the port and hopping to another island, so just stay tuned for more videos, you know, and much more areas I'm gonna cover around the Philippines. So that was the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Be safe out there, everybody. God bless y'all, and peace.